For more on this story, let's cross to The Hague. Jalel Harchaoui joins us there. He is an academic who follows closely the situation in Libya. Jalel, we're getting some of the off the record briefings that for reporters who've been meeting with Khalifa Haftar after his meeting with Emmanuel Macron, and effectively he's saying for now, why negotiate with Fayez al-Sarraj, the internationally recognized government leader in Tripoli, because he is under the control of Islamist militias, and it's not up to Haftar to negotiate with the militias. That's his reasoning. Your thoughts on that?
Well, it's interesting because the rhetoric is not constant. Sometimes the rhetoric emphasizes the jihadi or extremist element. You have this notion that the government of national accord in Tripoli is an accomplice and benefits from the help of jihadi organizations like Al Qaeda or Daesh. And sometimes the same government is blamed not for extremism, but simply because it relies on militias, which is absolutely correct. And usually the same rhetoric insists on the fact that those militias are corrupt, which is also correct. The problem is, does war does it bring a solution to this? Is it making the situation better? Is it so you have a problem in terms of the disconnect between the rhetoric and the reality on the ground, which is ugly, and it doesn't correspond to a very good performance by Haftar. So it's not surprising what has happened today. I think people will remember that he has been received in a very prestigious fashion in Paris as a head of state almost, and that's what matters to Haftar. And France is not unhappy doing that. Of course, France would have preferred to obtain a ceasefire. I wish to insist on the fact that a ceasefire would have been a nice gift if it had been accepted by Haftar, because he would have gotten to keep all the territories that he has taken by force over the last 6 weeks. And France is definitely not going to condemn his unilateral decision to attack on the 4th of April. And France will never ask him to go back to his pre-April 4th positions. And what he said today was no. He said, I'm not ready to accept the ceasefire. He might still do that because I think his forces are kind of tired. It's a big logistical effort. And if he does accept a ceasefire, he will get to rest. His army will get to rest, to regroup, to resupply. And they will still have the same international support if he wants to resume the attack later on. So you see that Haftar is really benefiting from all that generosity and benevolence from the international actors, including France.
Including France. So tell it to us straight here. Is Emmanuel Macron pro Haftar, or is it simply that France wants to supersede the UN, be the important player in Libya?
I mean, France, from a diplomatic perspective, has been a supporter of Haftar. It never requests anything in a very forceful fashion, always is happy to receive Haftar as a recognized, legitimate figure. This began a couple of months into the presidency of Emmanuel Macron. And the policy before April 4th being the date of the beginning of this major large-scale offensive into Tripolitania. Post April 4th, you see that the policy is basically the same. You never criticize Haftar, you never condemn him, you never force him to do anything, and there's always a prestigious aspect to the way he's received in Paris, and that really helps him a lot, internationally speaking.
Jalel Harchaoui of the Clingendael Institute, thank you so much for joining us from The Hague.